Hello everybody and welcome to Let's Chat, my weekly vlog series posted every Monday at lunchtime if you're in the UK, and I have a bit of a cold, so as you might be able to hear, my voice is a little bit croaky, got a little bit of a stuffed nose, so if I sound weird that's why. That's also why this will probably not be too long, because rather than try and fight through a cold, which is the mistake I usually make, which is why it lasts a while and then it also sounds like I have it for months because I space videos out, I'm trying to just rely on the backlog I've created thanks to Dark Souls 2 and Dead Rising 3, etc. that I can take a few days off where I don't actually need to do any recording or do very little. Oh, excuse me. So this will be a bit short. I'm just going to go through the questions last week and that'll probably be it. Other than that, I mean, as I say, I've got a huge backlog of Monster Hunter as well, thanks to a recent Steam night, so there's not going to be a slowdown of the videos. I'm just saying that right now my recording is actually a little bit behind because I'm letting my voice rest, so that it goes away quickly, in theory. Although saying that, in a few days, in fact the day after you hear this, the Borderlands pre-sequel will be out. However, I've talked it over with Rory and also someone else who I don't think's been on my videos. Moose. Oh wait, no, yeah, he was in the Blade Symphony ones we did. They should be joining me for a pre-sequel series. However, they both work weird night shift jobs, so finding times to record with them are going to be a bit more difficult than usual. So I think we're only going to manage maybe a couple of recording sessions a week, so I'm not sure I'll get videos of that out quickly. But they should be coming, barring any, copyright stuff. 2K is usually pretty okay with YouTube. I wouldn't say they're good with YouTube, but they're okay. Anyway. Also, if you're more curious about how Monster Hunter 4 is going, during the Steam night recorded last Saturday, I went on about it for absolutely ages, so you'll hear plenty of that. In fact, I think, let me just double check, I'm uploading the first part now, and you'll be hearing that on Sunday. So yeah, you already have heard me starting to go on about Monster Hunter 4 at this point, so I won't bother doing that here, plus I know not everybody's interested in that. So let's go back to the comments on Let's Chat 44, here we are. Scroll down, there isn't that many, so as I say, this probably won't be that long, but as you can probably tell by my voice, it's better that way, trust me. Right, so, first of all, Dragonakis, you did a wall of text going through the various points about the Twitch don'ts list that I made. I'm not sure I want to read all this out, but that's fine. So yeah, she gave feedback. Oh yeah, one thing I did want to mention is when I was going on about vocal tics, you pointed out one catchphrase of mine, which is how I end my videos, which is not the same thing as what I was talking about, and also Monster Hunter, which is not a deliberate thing or actually the kind of thing I was talking about. That's just my accent making it sound like the words are running together. So those aren't examples of what I meant for that particular one. Moving on. Oh, this is a new person commenting actually, I think. Root of All Evil 94. Totally agree with all your points here, Flik. Even the things you said might just be personal pet peeves. Those things bug me too. Yeah, that's one thing to keep in mind, as I said last time when I was going through if you didn't see it, the list of things from a viewer's perspective that annoyed me about professional Twitch streamers, the people who have partnership with Twitch. And yeah, I did mention on numerous of them that they were pet peeves. They weren't necessarily the audience as a whole complaining here, just things as a viewer that I noticed that bugged me. But a few people did actually say they agree with quite a few of the things I pointed out, and that's good. Well, kinda good. Most of the things I listed are things that if a person was doing them, can be fixed for the most part. Not saying you have to fix them all, but you could definitely fix most of the things I listed, so if you listened to that list and thought, oh god, I do lots of those things, it doesn't really matter. You can fix it, and you can improve. And just doing YouTube is a method of improving yourself as well. Go back and listen to the first few things I did vocal commentary on, not compared to this, because as I say, my voice and my nasal passages are choked up with bile. So don't compare it to this, but compare it to, like, say, the usual episode of a series I do now compared to back then. I didn't take classes or anything like that, that's just from doing it for a few years. You just get better at it, so if you're just starting out on Twitch, even if you are doing a lot of the things that I pointed out as negatives, work on them, improve, move on, and you'll be all the better. And let's move on to the next question with that. Kuner K. Wait a second. I recognise that avatar. Did you change your name? Don't do that, it confuses the hell out of me. Great vlog. See, I can't even speak either. Agreed to most of the Twitch notes. Couple of questions. Okay, good. So let's move on to the questions. Also, I feel like I really need to blow my nose. I definitely do not want to do that on camera, but I will mute the mic for just a second. Just give me a quick second so I'm not as congested sounding. Actually, I just realised when I tried to press the mute button on my mic it didn't work there, so I'll have done some editing so you didn't have to hear that. Hopefully that's a bit better sounding. I can actually breathe through my nose now. Right, so anyway, Cooner K, your questions. 1. What's the next big game you're planning to play on your channel? I would say that the Borderlands pre-sequel probably fits that bet. However, as far as indie stuff goes, then definitely Binding of Isaac Rebirth, which is very, very close now. I cannot wait. I watched, there was a hour-long video from, was it the most recent PAX? I guess it must have been, of one of the programmers of Rebirth, not Edmund McMillan, but one of the team, and a YouTuber playing it together, showing off a lot of new stuff. You know, just playing the game, and as it happens, quite a lot of stuff turned up, and it looks really great. Also, I was a bit negative on the music in a Isaac run that I don't think has gone live yet. I've listened to the samples of the soundtrack for Rebirth that's on Bandcamp or Bandicamp, whatever it's called. I'm totally turned around on it now. There's a few tracks that are really, really good sounding. It's just very different to the style that, what's his name? Darry B? I can't remember the name of them. The composer of the music I like so much in the original Isaac. It's definitely of a different type, but I actually really like some of the tracks, and you can get the link to buy the OST for Rebirth on Bandcamp or via Steam. However, Steam doesn't have a few of the tracks. Via Edmund McMillan's website, which is bindingofisaac.com, I think, or .blog, something like that. Second question. What's the next big game you're waiting for on every platform? This is basically just an expanded version of the first question. I know you can't wait for Monster Hunter 4 on 3DS. Yep, you are correct, although I'm currently playing it. But yes, I'm looking forward to the ultimate version. I'm going to try very hard not to play 4G, which is the Japanese version, which is out. It's out tomorrow for me, but you'll be hearing this a couple of days after it's released. So that when I do play 4U, there'll be a bunch of stuff I'm not familiar with, the G-rank stuff and all the new subspecies as well. What's the next big game you're waiting for every other platform? Well, let's say that the Borderlands pre-sequel is PC, even though it's on consoles as well. I'm buying it on PC. PS4, Bloodborne. PS Vita. Insert nervous giggle here from Sony execs because there's nothing on the PS Vita apart from some good indie games which you can also play on other things, but I can't honestly think of any Vita game that I'm interested in. I can't even think of any Vita game, let alone one I could definitely say, oh yeah, I know that's coming out on the Vita, I'm just not interested in it. Nope, I just don't know what's coming out on that because there's basically bugger all. So that covers the two main formats, or three if you include Monster Hunter. As far as the Wii U, I might get Smash Brothers on Wii U, I guess. Oh, I'm also looking forward to the new Pokemon on 3DS as well. That's something else that's out in the tail end of November, I believe. I know that a lot of people are interested in Bayonetta 2. I didn't like the first one. I only ever played the demo of it. I didn't play the full game, but I didn't like it, so I've no interest in the second one. I also find some of the advertising Nintendo has used for Bayonetta 2 to be offensive. I took a screenshot of it in case they backtracked at a later date on Twitter about a month ago. It was a picture of Bayonetta from the chest up with her guns, and it said, this is from the official Nintendo Twitter account by the way, it said Bayonetta's coming. You know, spelt correctly, but the implication is the other kind. And that's as deplorable as one I saw Square Enix do for Final Fantasy XIV, which was come to, what's the world called in Final Fantasy XIV? Eorza, something like that. Come to Eorza and see what you're missing, and it was a close-up of a elven female's breasts. It's like, don't do that, that's pathetic. I mean, I expect it from Square Enix, quite frankly, but from Nintendo, who are supposed to be wholesome and child-friendly, don't do that kind of wordplay innuendo when, well, I suppose it's a hyper-sexualised game, isn't it? But even then, I found it tacky. Not that that was going to turn me off anyway, because I was already turned off. I just did not want anything to do with it. I didn't like the way the game played, the first one, and I have no inclination to try the demo, but if you have a Wii U, for whatever reason, there is a demo for Bayonetta 2 out now. I don't know how big it is, but it is available for everybody, I believe. Number 3. This has taken me a lot longer to get through than I thought. Best RPG game of all time in your opinion? Xenogears on the PS1. Question number 4. Just wondering if you buy games to play or have to wait for the developer to give you the game. Well, if a developer, or a publisher are going to give you a game, it'll be before release. big name developers don't usually pay much attention to me. I'm not big enough. Namco Bandai and Capcom to a certain extent, they're about the biggest companies that actually pay attention when I ask them things. Ubisoft as well, however after I didn't really like Watch Dogs, that might not be the case going forwards, but anyway. If indie games, I get approached by 5 to 10 indie devs every day, so usually I'll get approached first. I've got no problem with buying games. I did it all my life before doing YouTube, so I do cover some games where I haven't been given it for free. Like, what's one most recently? Oh, Dead Rising 3. I didn't get given that. I didn't ask Microsoft or whoever it is that's actually put it together for a copy. I bought it because I wanted to play it, and I played it through and I liked it enough that I wanted to do a playthrough of it again for the channel. Ideally I wanted it to be co-op, but that kind of fell through. I'm wondering if you... So to answer your question, yes, I still buy games. Yes, I still buy games that I cover for the channel, but also sometimes I get them directly from developers / publishers / PR companies representing those people. So if I was bigger, chances are I would get approached by more people, but you know, I'm small size by comparison to others. And that is your questions. Cheers mate, keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Next, Ollie Zeta. So you wouldn't live with other tubers, in brackets, slides invitation under a rug. Yeah, I'm only kidding, good. I entirely agree on your Twitch list too, thank you. What's your view on YouTubers, big or small, having NSFW artists as friends? Do you think it could possibly harm their fan base or enhance it? In brackets, it's something I've been thinking about for a while actually. I have no opinion really on friends of YouTubers. As to whether or not it would be harmful, yes, I guess. I don't know, how prudish in general is the internet? Like, if I had a friend who liked to draw big pairs of giant boobies, post them on Tumblr, if someone knew I was friends with someone who did that, would that be offensive? I think some people would be offended. What if it was dongs instead of boobies? Would they still be offended? Would they be more offended? I'm not sure. I don't think the internet is as prudish as reality, as silly as that sounds. So would it harm their fan base? Probably not. Would it enhance it? Probably not. Most people probably wouldn't give a rat's ass, because the internet is a selfish place. So I hope that kind of answered your question. My general attitude on other YouTubers in general, like as an overarching just general opinion, is what they get up to off camera is none of my business. That's my opinion. That's why for the longest time I didn't do commentary on my videos. I didn't have a Twitter account. I didn't have any of that stuff because I just wanted my videos to be out there rather than myself. However, now I understand how branding works, so you can't really get away with that. Although on that subject, it might come to harm your brand, I suppose. But I wouldn't know how that kind of thing works. It's a case-by-case basis, I guess. Stormkiller72, I had to press more info there if you heard me clicking. Nice one, Flik. I tend to agree on most of the points you made here, pet peeves or not. I've had YouTube and Twitch channels for a few years now, but haven't started using them until recently. So at the moment I fall into using YouTube for VODs from Twitch. I see, yep. I don't have many viewers either, so that's fine by me, as I'm still trying to find my niche and saving for a decent mic and editing software. Good, yeah, that's the way you should do it, just go in baby steps. Also, you say you aren't photogenic, you look a lot better. Wait, you look better than a lot of people I've seen on YouTube, so stop putting yourself down. I wasn't putting myself down to say I'm not photogenic. I'm not saying I'm a monster. It's just that some people, well, particularly when it comes to webcams on Twitch, this is what I'm meaning when I said that. I don't have an expressive face unless I really force it. I have a very dull face, and I think I've gone into detail about this before. I had Bell's palsy when I was 18, which is a paralysis of half your face, and your face muscles droop when you have it because you have no control over that side of your face. So I have when my face is at rest, it looks like I'm frowning ever so slightly because of me having Bell's palsy. So my face at rest doesn't even just look bored, it looks upset. So that's why I mean I'm not photogenic, and I have to try and force a neutral face, which is fine, but that's what I meant. And if I'm focusing on playing a game, I'm not focusing on Like say when I did the 2000th video and I was looking at the web camera, because all I was doing was reading questions and talking. But if I was playing a game at the same time and trying to read a Twitch chat at the same time, my face would be dull as dishwater. It would just be the same semi-frown staring at the screen, not even at the camera. And that for me adds nothing to the atmosphere of a Twitch channel, in my opinion. If I was engaging the audience in a game that didn't require constant, looking at another screen or using a controller, or say it was Monster Hunter 4, I'd have to be staring at 3DS. I hit a can on my desk again there, whoops. So yeah, I wasn't fishing for compliments, put it that way. I was just meaning that I don't have an emotive face. It isn't a case of being handsome or not. It's more like whether it's fun to watch me play a game and have all these weird facial expressions that I do, like shock or anguish or laughter. I'm not going to have very big reactions like that. Oh, excuse me again, what have I eaten today that's made me so gassy? Oh wait, it's probably this fizzy juice actually that I keep on knocking. Shouldn't do that on an empty stomach, and I'm not eating very much because of the cold. Okay, this next person, I'm going to butcher your name and I apologise in advance. Marziki Salaman. Can you record your face when you play game, Flik, so everyone can know what you feel about the game? Seeing my face wouldn't express my opinion of the game any better. In fact, I'd be more self-conscious, so I'm probably more articulate when I don't have to worry about what my face is doing. So no, I won't be doing that. If I ever was able to do Twitch, well, it will happen one day, but it just might be as late as June 2016. Would I do a webcam? I'd rather not, but if people wanted it for whatever reason, I don't think it adds anything other than making you feel more like a person, I guess. However, I would hope that the manner in which I talk to the audience is going to be good enough. I don't know, we'll see. That's way in the future at this point, because it doesn't look like it's going to be possible before then. But can you record your face while I play a game? Oh, actually, is that what you mean? Like, say for Dead Rising 3, could I, if I wanted to, have my webcam going and recording me at the same time as recording me playing a game? That's possible, yes. There would be a little bit of delay on the audio between the picture and what you'd see, which would be a pain in the arse to sort out, quite frankly. And again, like Twitch, in fact, it would add even less than on Twitch because you weren't doing it live. So to me, yes, it is physically possible. So if you're interested, like if you're asking because you want to do something similar, yes, you could. To use my exact setup, you would have OBS, and that would be recording the game software and your voice at the same time, so you wouldn't have to do any post-editing. You would just have to make sure the game audio was low enough compared to you. Then you would also have your webcam software going, make sure that's recording. But you wouldn't... Oh yeah, actually I think OBS does let you have webcams, so you could use OBS for all three things. In fact, let me load OBS just to make sure I'm not talking at my arse. OBS, where are you? There you are. Double click. It's probably got an update because I haven't ran it for a couple of days. And let's see, if I wanted to add a source as a webcam, video capture device, I assume that would count webcams, or you could just do window capture because the webcam preview window would count. So yeah, actually if you used OBS, I assume that the pay for streaming programs would do the same thing. However, OBS is entirely free and also exceptionally good for being free, so there's never any need to buy a license for XSplit, in my opinion. Get OBS. But yeah, OBS could handle your camera, the game. Hell, you could put a watermark over your video as well if you wanted. I haven't done that because I don't like watermarks, but well, I did on some of the anime ones, but that's because anime ones are prone to get stolen. But yeah, if you wanted to, or if I wanted to, you could do what you're saying in OBS with ease, whether you were local recording or live streaming, and you wouldn't have to do any post-processing either, because it's doing all three at the same time. Unless you had to edit something out. That's the only thing. So I hope that rant / ramble was what you were looking for in terms of an answer. And if you want to see me talk for an hour, go watch the 2000th video. That's the one I did with my webcam. Gale Force Gaming. What was your first official anime, not including Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh, etc.? Stuff with blood. Dragon Ball Z, although the original start of the English dub went to very exceptionally painful lengths to remove all violence, all blood, all references to people dying. So for him it was full FMA. What was that stand for again? Full Metal Alchemist, that's what I was trying to say. Was not an anime fan as the blood would put me off. but I gave it a shot and loved it, and loved anime since. Yeah, my friend started watching the dub of Dragon Ball Z. I didn't really like it at first because, as I say, it didn't seem very interesting because they tried to make it for kids, and it should not be for kids. It has excessive levels of violence and blood, etc. But then I got into the fighting aspect of it. I went looking for like the uncut Japanese fights and whatnot, and saw the violence for what it should be, and was like, yeah, okay, I can get into this. This is clearly not a cartoon meant for children. So official animes, well, by official, what do you mean? I don't quite get that. I also watched the Pokemon anime. Never seen Digimon. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I watched a bit of the first season of Digimon because it was like, oh, here's this Pokemon ripoff. Why don't we watch this and see what this is like and make fun of it? It turned out to be not too bad. Yu-Gi-Oh! I have never seen. I played the games because I like the card game itself, which was, I think as I've gone into before, was never in the manga for Yu-Gi-Oh! Apart from twice. The actual manga for Yu-Gi-Oh! Is much more adult. It's about someone who puts people in life and death situations to teach them a lesson, and it just so happened one person who was to be taught a lesson was the guy who played the card game. But anyway, 2 more questions. This took a lot longer to get through than I thought. Also, I'm going to have to close OBS because my VSync goes crazy when it's on for some reason. Graveskeeper Duelist. If finding the anime is a problem, Psychopath is on Netflix. That's good to know, however, I've never used Netflix in my life. Netflix. And it's new and scary to me. Oh, also, it might not be in the UK. I'd have to check with Rory on that. I remember reading somewhere that it sucked, as in the UK Netflix, for everyone that is not in North America. I have also heard that, and I think it's true. Also, I did not even know the person that replied to me was Rory. Yeah, I can't remember what his name he uses on YouTube is, but it's not good Rory. I like him even more now, even if Doctor Who made me hate the name Rory. I don't know why. Anyway, do you accept gifts from viewers? Also, do you ever intend on doing live streams? I'm not sure if this was answered before. Oh, and sorry that my comments are always so long. No, actually, your comment is relatively short compared to a few others this time, so that's fine. Well, let's cover what's already been covered. I can't live stream, my connection is not good enough. My area is scheduled to get the upgrade required in June 2016. It might happen sooner if enough people get behind the movement. I've tried to rally local people, it hasn't really made a difference so far. Keep you posted. But at the very, very latest, June 2016, I will have fibre optic broadband and I will be able to live stream. Until then, I can guest on other people's, but that's it. Do you accept gifts from viewers? I do. It makes me feel a little bit weird, however, I guess I kind of had to get over that because of Patreon. Also, on that subject, Matsumune gifted me Kingdom Rush, which I've tried a little bit. Thank you for that. And I was also gifted Nuclear Throne recently, which I tried for the first time last night, and I'm really bad at it. I'm really, really bad at it. So I do, however, I would say I'd rather people support it on Patreon, because then at least you get bonuses for doing so. You get other videos and whatnot. Did you have a third question? No, that was just 2. Okay, so that's done. And finally, a comment from 6 hours ago, actually. DNA, Daniel Na. That was you, right? That was your name before you changed it to confuse me? If someone gave you $150 for eating a teacup of wasabi within 5 minutes with milk, would you? No. There's probably a price where I would attempt it, but I would not do it for that. I've had a wasabi coated peanut, 1, and I couldn't even eat that. So wasabi for me is no. So no, I wouldn't be able to do that. I would most certainly be sick. So would most people, even if you liked wasabi, right? If you had just a teacup of it mixed with milk, that sounds horrible. Oh, and on the subject of Patreon shoutouts, I should have done this at the start of the video really, rather than at the end, and after I'd already finished recording and remembered that I'd forgotten. Shut up, that's why. Here are the shoutouts to the patrons who backed at a certain level for last month. Thank you very much for your support, and a few of these names I might butcher. Apologies in advance, but here we go. Matsumune, Joe Coulthard, Taya Blake, Apropos of Nothing, Paul Olsen, Sashman, Dragonakis, whatever you want to call yourself these days, Coulson McDonald, Fraser Macbeth, Silver, Good Rory, Logan Cote, Gary, otherwise known as CR, O.C. Callio, Nick Gilaldi, Michael Smith, Michael Millward, Jim, just Jim, no other name given, Epic Fail V2, Corey Drake, oh, you told me how to pronounce his next name and I've already forgotten, Rodri Banks, oh, you told me how to pronounce that first name, it's It's actually pronounced in a really easy way, but it's, what was it, Gaelic or something like that? I've forgotten again, I'm very sorry. James Kilgore, John Smith, Amy Spain, Terrell Smith, Tristan Ponsica, and Calvin Schmidt. Once again, thank you very much. And on that subject, I can feel that my voice is sounding painful, and I don't want to submit you to it. Is that the word I was looking for? I can't even form coherent sentences right now. Definitely glad I didn't record anything else today, put it that way. Had to do this though, so I'm sorry I was a bit rambly today. I shall hopefully feel better over the weekend. I'm going to try and take a rest before we start recording Borderlands. You'll know whether or not that's the case by now, because you'll be hearing this on Monday. But anyway, thank you very much for listening, and I shall see you next week, hopefully feeling a bit better. Ta-ta for now.